in a bit of traffic. He was kind of leaning forward, but that's what pros get paid to do. They get paid to make that catch. Nance was great yesterday. Maybe not fully his best. I think some of the things conspired against him with the overall broadcast. Somebody pointed out to me on the talk and text line, Luddy, that they once worked in the graphics department for a major network calling football games, and that when the announcer says there's a flag in the field, the CG guy is told, put the flag icon up on the scorebook.
Interesting.
That's what he says.
Okay.
But you know that Nance has spotters upon spotters, and Wayne will fill us in more about this in a second. And I would imagine that the spotters are told before you get in the ear of the play-by-play man to say there's a flag, make sure it's not a towel, make sure it's not a glove, make sure it's not a pigeon. Better be a flag, because that was a dagger mistake. As bad as my stat of the day mistake, probably not. But I've got a backup stat of the day I'll hit you with later on this hour. Cue Wayne's intro.
It's Wayne's World! Wayne's World! Party time! Excellent!
We go wherever Wayne wants to go now that the Packer season is over. We are off-road capable. Wayne's World, as always, brought to you by our friends at Steamfitters 601. Also by National Fire Sprinklers Association. Visit them at nfsa.org. Good morning, Wayne. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. You're laboring on a point where they said flag, but there was no flag. I remember the sequence when it happened, but
it was the heave by Josh Allen that fell.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was.
They said, and there's a flag, and the little yellow box of hope for Bills fans flashed up on the screen.
But didn't the official come on and say no penalty or something after that too? I want to say, I'm not sure.
The officials never said it.
Okay.
Nance just said,
got it.
Our spotters said there was no flag on the play. That was
that's
mistake.
what he said. All right. I didn't quite understand.
Wayne, you can't do that. That is such false hope in such a tender moment.
Somebody got berated somewhere along the line pretty heavily. It may not be back for another run.
Yeah.
I'm just saying one of the spotters, probably, whoever it was. But no, I tell you what, the championship games were very predictable from the standpoint of I much as I loved the story of the Washington Commanders, I'm all over Jaden Daniels as one of the best young quarterbacks I've seen. They really, they didn't belong there. But it would have been nicer to see the Eagles and Lions go at it in Detroit. But unfortunately, upsets happen, and that's what you get. And then the AFC side lived up to what we all expected and hoped for. I mean, 3 of the top quarterbacks, and that top quarterback line of maybe 4 reside in the AFC. Burrow, obviously, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. And I thought that Chiefs game was just again, phenomenal the way it played out. And how about that? That's first off, Spagnuolo dials up a blitz I've never seen before, gets home on the blitz, and Josh Allen almost completes the ball. Just unbelievable play by those quarterbacks. I thought it was tremendous. And Mahomes, hey, listen, Mahomes is doing what we had all thought and hoped Aaron Rodgers would be doing about a decade ago, right? On its 3rd or 4th Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's going to be a storyline in terms of the Eagles have now been to 3 Super Bowls in 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as many as the Packers went to in 30 with 2 Hall of Fame first ballot guys.
Yeah.
They're not squeezing enough out of the juice they've been given. Mixing that metaphor as well. There's been too much frustration in having really good teams that don't make it.
Right. And I think it gets down to the defensive component. And that's what I saw them start to fix this year, really in a big way, that defensive component. Now, are they there yet? No, they need a pass rusher. And by the way, would somebody who offered the trade of a 2nd-round pick this year and a 3rd-round pick next year to the Raiders for Max Crosby, and then said, well, if it was true, and it wasn't true, obviously, if it was true, oh, that's too expensive. What?
No, it's not.
No. First off, if the Raiders are stupid enough to do that,
yes.
if they're stupid enough to do that, okay, and not attach a first-round draft choice to Max Crosby, then by God, you get into a private jet and you go out there and you wine and dine Mark Davis and you make sure that deal for a second and third goes through. My goodness, what are we doing here? I mean, really?
Yeah. The problem with Brady joining the Raiders is even though he's a minority owner, he has voice, and I'm sure has Davis's ear. And Brady is not stupid.
No,
Brady may be a lot of things, insufferable being one of them. Plastic surgery fake is another one, but he ain't stupid. So Brady, I think, has turned off the spigot of stupid deals that would otherwise come from the Raiders.
Yeah, we can't count on them for a stupid deal. Exactly.
No, you can't count on them
That's
anymore.
what's wrong with this world.
I believe it's in Jacksonville.
Exactly.
We can't count on the Raiders to make a stupid deal. Come on.
I know. Right. Here's one of the funnier nuggets of this morning I found out. Luddy says to me, hey, did the Cowboys actually offer Shoddy Jr. the job? I go, oh, offered, accepted, and announced.
Yeah.
And you're like, I must have missed that this weekend. I joked on Twitter, Luddy. I go, okay, I've seen a lot of parody sites saying they had hired Brian Schottenheimer. Now, come on. Can you give me some real reporting on what the Cowboys are doing? And most people got it as a joke.
Yeah.
And I was kidding.
I was actually kind of halfway like, wait, really? Brian Schottenheimer, what has he really done in the, okay, all right, sounds good.
Somebody, Wayne, pointed out this is the eternal problem for some fan bases with poorly run franchises, is that you never truly outpace the process by which your owner and your team structure operates, a complicated task, right? Mm-hmm. Running an NFL team and doing things the right way. And maybe Shoddy Jr., career assistant, a person some people call a Nepo baby. Maybe he'll be great. It's possible. But the process was terrible. The process was awful. And the Cowboy job is not viewed as a good job because of Jerry.
And no less an authority than Troy Aikman declared that on a Monday night telecast a few weeks ago that, he said, people say this is a good job. I'm not so sure. And I mean, that was amazing when he said that. But, when you lose Troy, Mr. Cowboy, it's like when Cronkite turned against the Vietnam War. When you've lost Cronkite, you've lost the country, And it should be the most attractive job. The Cowboys with their revenues, Wayne, should be able to kind of bully ball their way like the Dodgers do in baseball with more restraints because the cap is real. And it's the exact opposite because they've got a panicked 82-year-old desperate to win it one more time before he leaves this earth.
But, if this was such a great job, they just went in-house essentially, and that almost never works.
Yeah.
I don't care
in-house
to in-house. Almost never.
In-house to a guy who was sought out by nobody else in the league.
Yeah.
Schottenheimer was not on anyone's short list.
And they had
so it was a very bad process, which may turn out. We don't know, but the process was terrible.
They had
and
Dan
you compare
Quinn
that with
year.
the Eagles. Somebody pointed out the Eagles have Howie Roseman. He runs their show. Howie Roseman's 49. He's not 82. He's not a billionaire. He is sharp. He's innovative. He takes risks. He's not a look at me guy. Goes after big time players.
Yeah.
Jerry, old, slow, stubborn, ego driven, outdated, desperate. That will catch up to you in the end. But I like the way the Packers are structured. I feel like they've got every ingredient there. Let's go back to what you said they need the most desperately to make this jump to yesterday's games.
Mm-hmm. Four-man rush. First off, if you watch the two championship games, but especially the Kansas City game, Spagnuolo did some great blitzing. No doubt about that. His timing, his call of the blitz might be the premier defense coordinator. The two of them are in this game, Spagnuolo and what's his name? Forgive me.
Fangio.
Vic Fangio.
Vic Fangio, yes.
Yeah, Vic Fangio. Those are the two premier guys, in my opinion, on defense in the NFL today. And, they'll blitz on occasion, but it's usually by surprise. And why is it by surprise? Because they get production on the pass rush out of a 4-man front. I'm not talking just sacks, but the way Kansas City had Josh Allen moving when he didn't want to move necessarily, that kind of thing. The pressure they put on with a 4-man rush was outstanding. That's the one thing. You give Hafley, it'll take one dominant pass rusher. If they get one guy to be dominant, that will elevate everybody else on that line. You get pressure on a 4-man rush, and now watch what Jeff Hafley can do, because there were a lot of things he had to compromise in what he wanted to do with that defense to get pressure on the quarterback. So there you go.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, I think they need another cornerback, and I really think if they could, all things considered equal, if they could get a number one cornerback, a guy to come in and take over the number one job, that's hard to do. Very hard to do, but that's kind of what they need. And those are the two things on defense I'd look at. And on offense, you need a number one receiver. That's my opinion, just my opinion. And obviously, publicly, the football people at Lambeau Field deny that. But that's just my opinion. I think they probably need a number one receiver. That will elevate that.
I think so as well. Right. Some team like the Bills and the Chiefs, both of them don't have that true number one, but their quarterbacks are so good, they figured out a way to piece it together and muddle through. If Mahomes does get a number one again, like he had with Tyreek, good night now. There's no beating him, like literally no beating him.
Yeah, exactly. But they are very resourceful. Andy Reid's very creative, and they use what they have. You know what I mean? Hollywood Brown in the first quarter looked like, first ballot Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? And then he disappears. And that worthy guy who runs faster than anybody had ever run. He gets a couple of hitch passes and takes them, that kind of thing. So, but it was interesting yesterday, but I still, I felt bad for Washington because I was kind of rooting, I was really rooting for them. And they had no business being there. They can't stop the run. Hey, Waukesha West to get 200 yards on that defense. Come on. Come on.
Really. Program, though. Yeah.
It's a good program, though. Come on now. The Eagles, they rushed 4 for the bulk of the game, Fangio did, because they wanted to because basically Daniels had crushed the Lions on the blitz the week before.
Right.
Blitz don't phase Jaden Daniels. So he had the luxury of rushing 4 because look at their front 4. Jordan Davis, 22 first-round pick. Jalen Carter, 23 first-round pick. This guy, Nolan Smith Jr. out of Georgia, 2023 first-round pick. He looks weird because he's kind of a little bit undersized as an outside backer, but runs really well. And he's their edge guy to complement Carter inside. And on that one sack of Daniels, he was split out so wide. He was wide of McLaurin on the sack, but he had the speed to run down Daniels, who is basically uncatchable on a wide technique like that. You have that, you can play coverage in the back. And then if you've got good DBs, which they do in Mitchell and Cooper DeJean now that he's healthy, and Darius Slay, who's all pro, well, that's a hell of a team right there.
That's the best defense in football right there. It's going to be a heck of a Super Bowl. Hey, listen, the two right teams got into it. All year I've said, and their injuries caught up with them. All year I said it's the Lions' year, and it was. Now we'll see what they are next year. But it was their year. The injuries interceded on that. They lost on a bad night at home to Washington, and, they're gone. But, hey, the Super Bowl we got is probably the best roster of talent. And you're right about Howie Roseman. Is there a better GM in pro football today?
No,
not really.
No, he's got it cooking.
No.
He's got it cooking.
Absolutely.
I'd love to know what their due diligence said on Barkley. Did they look at him? Did they talk to some trainers and say, look, why is he hurt a lot? And maybe they got something that the trainer said, look, it's not that he's a distressed property. It's that they're not doing this right, or this was a fluke injury, or look at this new training technique that he's been doing. We think he's worth the risk of staying healthy. Nobody was confused that when healthy, he's a difference-making back, right?
Yeah. Well, he had a major knee injury, and it takes over a year to come back from that. And we dismiss that because we think everybody's Adrian Peterson. He comes back from an ACL better than ever, less than a year later. No, that doesn't happen normally, boys and girls. He is the outlier. But Barkley took him a couple of years, and now he looks to me healthy and fresh.
But also,
28? Is he 28?
Yeah, right. But also, if it's me and I'm running a team, I want to make sure I'm betting on the right guy. Like,
Oh, yeah.
really learning who the guy is, because you bet on the wrong guy and you'll be in for a world of misery. Barkley seems to understand exactly what this is all about in life, and I kind of like him. I'm not supposed to like any Eagles or Giants. He's an Eagle and a Giant. I should hate him doubly more. But I just watch and listen to how he does things, and I have total respect for him as a player.
The one guy I would say going into this 2-week period that I think we're going to see more of in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts. They've been very careful with him, haven't they? Not asking him to do too much downfield, and he has the receiving capability downfield. There's no doubt about that. But I have a feeling that we're going to see him a little more active in this upcoming game plan against Kansas City. Although at one point, Buffalo in the second half of that game yesterday, they were running the football effectively and overpowering the Chiefs up front. So there's no reason why Philadelphia wouldn't try to do that. But I do think they're going to have a wrinkle or two involving Jalen Hurts. It's going to be a little bit more than what we have seen so far in these playoffs.
Right. Can they get both Dickerson and Cam Jurgens back fully healthy in 2 weeks? I would think they could.
That's a big key. That's huge.
If they can,
By the way, Saquon Barkley turns 28 on the day of the Super Bowl.
28. Yeah. Well, I mean, they treat 30 like a death sentence for running backs in this league.
Zabe, we're good, aren't we? I mean, we don't need birth certificates. We just look at a guy. We can tell how old he is. You know, you and I. See, Letty, this is next level stuff you're seeing here right in front.
I'm going to let you flex that, because I've already made a major mistake this morning, and I'm still rubbing the bruise from it. So I'll just leave it at that. You are good at how old a guy is. Yeah. Me, I'm occasionally on the money, usually by luck.
Have a good week, guys.
All right. Wayne Larrabee, everybody. Wayne's work. As always, Wayne, part of our Packer Insiders, brought to you by Local 601, Steamfitters Local 601. Learn more by visiting steam601.org, and by the National Fire Sprinklers Association. Visit them at nfsa.org. You know what my backup stat of the day was?
No.
There were 5 fumbles in the Chiefs-Bills game, and the Bills recovered all 5. Still lost.
Wow.
2 of the Chiefs, 3 of their own. Behold, your stat. Still, you botched the first one. It's over. Just put it away. Okay. Coming up, Mike Keller will join us. Why? Why does he love replay so much when it is such a disappointment? Kind of like the deadbeat son that can't get a job, is living in the basement, constantly disappoints, and yet the mom still loves him. That's my boy. We'll talk to Mike next. You're listening to Czabe and Butch in the morning. Butchie's off today. He's back tomorrow right here on The Game.
For the latest Packers offseason news, inside information, and reaction, keep up with the only media outlet you can trust.
It's like being surrounded by all your friends you don't know who all love the same team.
The Packers flagship 97.3 The Game.
When the wildfires struck Los Angeles,
severe fire weather conditions,
first responders from near and far came to the rescue.
All fire departments and all law enforcement
Open your free iHeart app and search "Here's the Thing" and start listening.
Why? Why? I don't know why. I don't know. Never been in a fight. You? No, but that's a good thing. No, it is not. How much can you know about yourself? You've never been in a fight. I don't want to die without any scars. So come on, hit me before I lose my nerve.
It's coming over tonight. Hell right. Everybody's throwing down on a Friday night somewhere.
See, that's the difference between us. You think we're fighting, and I think we're finally talking.
You ain't done nothing.
Let's not fight this morning. Let's unite, Mike Keller. 25 days till you and I and a gang of ne'er-do-wells are in Jamaica for Sunburn Bowl 6. Going to be a blast. 25 days. Can I lose 25 pounds in 25 days? Who says that?
You can.
You can.
It
would require
amputation.
a major illness, serious vomiting. I'd have to be spitting all day long like wrestlers do to make weight, into a cup.
Yeah.
So still will not look like an underwear model at that time. So who cares? All right. Mike Keller joins us now. You'll hear him in full at noon with his show. Are you familiar, Mike, with the Marie Kondo method of tidying and the empire she has made? Marie Kondo.
Yeah, I'm familiar. She had the organization drawers.
Yes, she invented the KonMari method.
Yes.
And here's how it works. She's a big believer in tidy spaces brings peace of mind. And her cornerstone philosophy in the Marie Kondo method is that you're supposed to pick things up in your house, look at it, think about it, and if it brings you joy, she says, does this item spark joy? Yeah. If the answer is no, throw it out.
Throw it out.
That's a crazy thing. I don't even know how to process that. So my question to you, Mike, is when replay does something you think it gets right, does it spark joy in you?
Yes. And in this regard, I've always wanted replay to correct the egregious, so when everybody fixated yesterday on the Josh Allen quarterback sneak early fourth quarter that didn't get the line to gain, that became the fixation point. There is nothing egregious either way about that. Had both linemen came in, the line judges come in and marked the ball at the yard line, and it's a first down, I don't think anybody has an issue. They marked it short. And
you don't know where they marked it.
Well, yeah, we do. The ball was
We
short.
never saw it.
Steve, all I'm saying is you didn't have to visually see it. They marked it short. That's why the ball turns over on downs. Right?
So we don't get to see it now on TV.
Well,
every other play like that, they show where the ball is and they bring the chains out.
Correct.
And TV does not move an inch. And yet in this case, none of that happened.
Well, because the line to gain was on the yard line, it was on a 5-yard line, so it's the full line. They can put the ball down and they know it's not a first down. They don't have to bring out a chain. If the chain measures at the very beginning of the full yard line and the ball's short of it, what are you measuring for? Okay, and I guess my point is we're fixated on that.
Did they announce to the crowd? Did they announce to the crowd, as they typically do, the ball is short, turnover on downs? No.
Well, yes, I think they did. I mean, the referee. Didn't. Okay.
Did you not know that they didn't show the spot, didn't use the chains, and did not actually announce the call on the field? They huddled, then threw it to the replay center in New York. That's what happened.
But what part of that? Why is
wrong?
Why is this in debate? Steve,
it's not in debate. I'm saying it's all of it is wrong, Mike, that this is the procedures on officiating that are supposed to be followed.
Steve, if we'd have done this prior to the Jerry Rice fumble against the Packers before they brought replay in, and the two line judges would have run in and spotted the ball short of the first down, would this be an issue?
I'm not going back to talk about other plays. I'm talking about this one play.
I'm talking about this play pre-replay.
Don't engage me in hypotheticals.
Okay, I'm not. If there's no video replay on that fourth down sneak yesterday, is there an issue? You're just going to have issues with the two line judges that marked it short, right?
My issue is that and I don't know if you see this or just deny this or like this, that video replay has poisoned regular officiating. You don't believe it?
No, not even close.
You don't believe it? Okay. I would love to get a referee who would debate you on this, because what I saw was the referees abdicated their normal jobs and just threw it to New York.
Steve,
said,
I think,
please make this call for us. They refused to spot the ball, make the call loudly on the field in front of the cameras like it always is, bring out the chains to measure to make sure, because the yellow line is not official. They did none of that.
The yellow line had nothing to do with this. The yellow line has nothing to do with this. It was
every close spot. They put the ball down. They clear the players out. They bring out the chains. The trip to the Super Bowl is on the line. They didn't do that.
Czabe, when the chain is on a full yard line,
they still bring it out. I know you don't believe that, but okay.
Right.
So about the evidence part, you say there was no evidence the ball crossed.
There's
that you mean
I looked at
you
every
couldn't see the ball.
video angle that they showed, and they
All
do
four
not
of them?
show. Let me see if I can repeat that more clearly. I looked at every video angle that you looked at and never saw the ball.
Right.
Steve,
right. You never saw the ball
if
across.
it's 17 angles or 4, I mean, I just said I looked at every angle they showed, the same as you, unless you have a copy.
Well, they have over 25 cameras at the game. They gave us 4.
I'm answering your question. I looked at every television angle that was provided, the same that you did, unless you have an alternate television system that runs into your house that you get more angles than I do.
Maybe.
I looked at everything you looked, and there is no video that shows that the ball clearly made the line.
Right, because where was the ball? Right here.
You have to see the ball.
No. The ball was buried in Josh Allen's arms.
Correct.
Strapped to his chest. It was probably only visible to the naked eye 20% of actual pigskin. So it was a hard thing to see.
Yeah.
He's being tackled by a bunch of grown-ass men. There will be times, Mike, in which you can't literally see the ball.
Steve,
it makes the line to gain. You have to assume, you have to extrapolate. When the 1 and the 7 of his jersey are straddling the 40, where do you think the ball was?
Okay, so you looked at the video replay and you felt that he certainly made the line.
As did Nance, as did Gene Steratore, as did Dan Orlovsky.
I don't think
as did any number of people who know ball, saying that was an egregious call.
To make that call an egregious call is to ignore that Buffalo, what we ignore in all of this is that Buffalo in those short yardage situations yesterday was terrible. Terrible.
I understand.
I mean, we ignore that Buffalo didn't actually convert on their short yardage situations throughout the day at all yesterday. And then we want to blame the officials on the spot from the sideline that they couldn't overturn because there wasn't enough video evidence to overturn it.
Well, again, I would like to see the referees spot the ball, make a call on their microphones, on their pack, let us see the chains come out, and then we can go to replay, because replay was supposed to be a supplement, Mike, and it has now become a substitute for officiating. And now these guys don't call things because their instincts have been dulled by, they're just going to challenge it in New York.
I think.
And the league, do you not have a problem with the league making the call? Because
no, I have zero problem with call. I have zero problem with the league making the call. I think it's right that the league makes the call. I think they do it in Major League Baseball that way too.
You have trust in the league itself, with
as opposed to the official standing at the 40-yard line looking at a 14-inch monitor under a hood. Yes. I have trust in the league doing it.
And you don't think the league has acted in nefarious ways over the years? That has.
Ultimately, no, I don't think that the league has the fix in or in nefarious ways.
No, the fix.
You just said acted in nefarious ways. That would assume that you're saying that the league had an agenda on certain replays.
You don't have to have an agenda to go. You don't have to have an agenda to go. This game will be much better if we don't let the Bills go down and score a touchdown to go up 8 points with 4 minutes to go. That's not an agenda. That's not a conspiracy.
I know, but if you're going to,
that's in the moment. This is what the league wants. The league subpoenaed Tom Brady's cell phone and fought him in court over Deflategate Don't think for a second that the three guys in New York are pure as the driven snow making that call. I want the ref on the field to make the call.
Okay, boy, because he's more pure.
At least he has to live with his own call as an individual tasked with officiating the game. They're sharper. They're more engaged when they realize replay's not going to backstop us.
Steve, if you're inclined to believe conspiratorially that the league is going to adjudicate situations like that to make a game more entertaining, then there's nothing I can do to assuage you of that argument. Nothing. If that's where you're going to live, is that the league wants the game to be more entertaining. So in replay scenarios, they're going to take outside influences in. How does this impact the score, the time? If you believe then I can't. That's not an argument I can have with you.
I don't know why you don't think that's imminently possible. This was a razor's edge call that was very close. Tie goes to the runner. Tie goes to replay. Replay says what will make this game more interesting.
Steve, if you do believe that that's part of the deal, then I don't know why you wouldn't be. I don't know why you wouldn't be turned off to the game if you thought that they were like a reality television show in which producers are putting scripts into play to make it more entertaining. If that's what you believe, then why
am I still watching? Because the product is too good.
I can't debate that with you.
Contests are too compelling. I love it too much despite this. It's like in Deadliest Catch, they started to really ramp up the reality show aspect of it, where they would concoct plot lines and get captains feuding. The crabbing was still real, Mike. And that's why I watched the show, because I was couch crabbing. I wasn't cold and freezing my ass off. I was just virtually on the Ophelia Marie or the Cornelia Marie. But it doesn't mean that they don't start to kind of influence things a certain way.
I can't.
I know you don't believe that.
If I start going there with the NFL or Major League Baseball, the sports that I'm most interested in on replay, or even the NBA in that regard, if I start going there, I'm really going to check out. Like,
really?
If I start thinking,
so if you allow yourself to believe that our sports are not pure and perhaps massaged or manipulated, that it will ruin it for you.
Yep.
Okay. You know what, Luddy? I finally found it. I found it. This is Mike's protection.
I'm going to hate this. I when you rang that bell, I don't like where this is going, because now you think you know me in a way that I don't know me. And then whatever you're going to say here, I'm going to get really pissed off at. So go ahead.
Well, you guys are going to Sunburn Bowl. You get to know each other.
We'll figure it out over cocktails at the pool. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mike's defense mechanism, because he loves sports and he does not want sports to be ruined by the possibility, the notion, the thought that it could be manipulated. This would crush Mike in his sporting soul. And so as a defense mechanism, he holds tight to this. And he believes that replay is the white knight at the gates of this threat to his love of sports that protects him.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, it all makes sense.
I have always maintained, I have never varied from this. I want replay to correct egregious mistakes on the field, on the ice, on the court. And I think most of the time it does. Now, the play that we have focused on and was focused on all of last night is by no measure, on either side of the equation, it is by no measure an egregious mistake, period. It's a huge play in the game, but the spot of the ball and the replay that didn't overturn the spot of the ball is in either way not egregious. Had they made it a first down, it wouldn't be egregious. Had they not made it a first down, it wasn't egregious. It was razor thin, and the league, and you don't want to go to the chip, neither do I necessarily, but unless there is a more technical way in which to spot the ball, there was nothing there yesterday that would change that moment. It's not egregious on either side.
Yeah.
That's and I always want replay to correct egregious.
Chips are not going to work.
I don't want to debate chips. I'm just saying, unless you came with a technological way to spot the ball differently, then you're going to have moments like this. And once they spotted it, had they spotted it a first down, replay wouldn't have overturned it, because there was nothing egregious there. There was nothing clear and obvious in the marking.
I would just
of the
love
ball.
to know, from a officiating mechanic standpoint, who has authority, which line judge? Because this was like the Fail Mary, where one guy had one call, the other guy had the opposite. As soon as they start running in, and you could see the line judge at the top had a first down, and the line judge at the bottom had a short, I immediately said, oh my God, we're headed for a plane crash.
But you can see
right
that
now.
the line judge from the top side, the back of Josh Allen is turned to him, right?
I
There's
understand.
No chance he can see the ball,
that.
and he's further away.
Well, I understand that, but my question is, who has authority?
Well, I
is
would
there
think
a procedural
the line
authority,
judge
or do
that
they
is-
talk it out?
Wouldn't you think that the line judge that is closer to
Correct.
the play would have
Well,
had
define
the authority?
closer, meaning the run was off the left, so that
Yeah,
put
the
him
run
in
went,
the primary
went
position.
to the left, correct. Yeah, which was closer to that side judge.
But if
And
the
also
top-
facing him.
Right. But if the top line judge says, I saw Josh Allen's 1 and 7 clearly across the 40, surely the ball made it 2.
Oh, surely the ball. So there's an assumption. You saw the 1 and the
course.
7. You didn't see the ball. You saw
Where
the
would
1
it
and the
be?
7. You
All the-
can't
the
do that,
tip-
Steve. You got to see it.
Well, do you know that guys cover the ball with their arms really tight?
Travis
You're
Kelce
not
runs
always
like that.
going to see the ball, you know.
I don't know I've ever seen an official mark a ball without seeing the ball. Like
Well, you
in
have to
replay.
use-
Like they
you
have
to
never
use several
changed it.
pieces of replay.
Yeah.
They even talk about that. They say, well, we'll look
Right,
at
they
one
can piece
replay
them
and look
together.
at another to see when a knee is down, whatever. But look, the Chiefs are damn good. The Eagles are damn good. That's why they're playing on Super Sunday. Question: are you fine with this Super Bowl, or does it nauseate you?
I am fine with it.
fine,
The
okay.
Chiefs are a damn good football team with a great quarterback and a great head coach and a really good defensive coordinator. And Philadelphia is dynamic in every way. Defensively, running game, throwing game, quarterback. Yeah, I'm really good. I think this is a fantastic Super Bowl matchup.
Do you feel better about the Packers watching yesterday, or worse, or about the same of them making it to the Super Bowl in the immediate future?
I think the Packers
Better, worse, same.
I think the Packers. Where's next year's Super Bowl? I think the Packers could be making travel plans 52 weeks from today. Absolutely.
Okay.
I think
So-
they are eminently close. Very
same
close.
or better? Do you feel better after yesterday, or same? Did yesterday
Same.
change you?
Yesterday
Same.
didn't
Okay.
change. Same. Yeah, I'm good.
Santa Clara, by the way, Bay Area.
Santa
yeah.
Clara.
Yeah,
had
I don't love that.
They had
Skip
50, and
that.
now they'll have 60 out there.
Okay. Hey, how about that? Greg Gard has the boys playing great basketball.
they're
I know that
yeah,
we didn't
really
spend
good.
enough time on it right here, but I know you will today on your show. It's a big win. I like the sportsmanship for Connor yesterday.
Yeah.
I like seeing that. You know, life is too short to hold these grudges.
Yeah, it's really good. All good stuff there.
All right, Mr. Heller. We'll talk to you next week. Today, noon to 3, Mike Heller Show.
All right, sounds good. See you.
All right. There you go. Coming up, Banger Rejoin. I've got you covered. We'll put this show